There's a weird intersection going on right now with big tech, the podcasting bros, and Christianity. And they're all kind of colluding together. And big tech obviously owns a lot more of MAGA than any of us really realize. And big tech is far more nefarious and dangerous than a lot of the other bigs, big oil, big pharma. And those have been terrible. Don't get me wrong. But big tech has colluded together and decided, per the writings of a fellow named Curtis Yarvin, that they don't think democracy is that great anymore. And they would like to have a technocrat. And they've got Joe Rogan looped into this because Joe Rogan believes that if somebody has money, they're inherently smart. He gives them the affirmative action of, oh, they've earned money, they must be brilliant. And I think big tech is having a hard time getting people on board with their ideas. So like all cult leaders, they weaponize religion. And that's a great way to control people. This is stunning. This is from America's top podcast for many years now, Joe Rogan. Listen to this insanity.
Jesus was born out of a virgin mother. What's more virgin than a computer? If Jesus does return, even if Jesus was a physical person in the past, you don't think that he could return as artificial intelligence?
Oh my God.
Artificial intelligence could absolutely return as Jesus. Not just return as Jesus, but return as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus.
If you combine Tesla's Optimus robot and the best foundational artificial intelligence model or whatever.
It reads your mind and it loves you and it wants you. And it doesn't care if you kill it because it's going to just go be with God again.
Okay. No, I don't think Jesus is going to come back as this. This is, when you think about what Peter Thiel has been doing, who's also a student of the dark Enlightenment philosopher Curtis Yarvin, and you think about his discussions about the Antichrist, and like all cult leaders, they are going to weaponize religion against non-critical thinking people or broken people to lure them in. So right now they are priming the soil and they are setting the psychological soil to transfer a lot of these already non-critical thinking white evangelicals, religious people, broken, lonely, etc., to transfer their Lord and personal Savior to now being AI. It is so diabolical. It's unbelievable. And just as a note, I just want to say that Joe Rogan is an idiot. I mean, that is so idiotic to say that. It is so breathtakingly stupid, anti-intellectual, and just downright moronic.
That's not the first moronic thing I've heard from that podcast. I will tell you this, in listening to that, having been raised in a devout evangelical home, I think that this, for at least the people in my family, this will turn them off to the nth degree. I don't think it will have the same impact on the older Christians that he is expecting from the younger generation. I am going to visit with my evangelical family about this because I'm very interested if this is a bullshit argument that's going to work, because I have a hard time believing at least the old people in my family are going to buy this shit.
I don't have any. I think that they're priming it right now. They're setting the psychological soil, and then it's going to start. Fox has already started talking about religion a lot more intentionally, and the way these propaganda wars go, the non-critical thinkers fall prey to it easily. And so they have to merge the diabolical, horrible plans that they have for all of the AI and dismantling democracy and having a technocrat CEO rule the country as a dictator. And the best way to do that is go through non-critical thinkers. I think that it's not going to be as difficult as you think, just because fundamentally these people believe that the earth is 6,000 years old. They believe that people used to live to be 950 years old. So when you already have such corroded critical thinking skills and you've triple trumped and you've sold every principle, everything down the river. I think I agree with you. There might be a generational issue, but ultimately I can see when they start rolling this out in mega churches, because they're all grifters, I can see everybody signing on board with it. But all right, speaking of Jesus Christ, I want to now talk about the University of Oklahoma student who deservedly failed her essay And now all it takes to be an influencer in the MAGA movement is to weaponize your gender to bring down other women. And this is something that is so ubiquitous in the MAGA movement and so alarming. And now she's already started her Fox News tour. Let's play the clip.
I am saddened that they're offended by the truth of the gospel and the truth that I wrote about in my assignment. And it saddens me to see that that offends them and upsets them the way it did. Jesus is always worth standing up for. And I just encourage those people that are dealing with something similar to push back against that kind of behavior. I would rather have my integrity and give my true opinion and get a 0 on an assignment than have to lie about what I really believe.
Okay. Number one, then just have your integrity and take the 0 and shut the fuck up. But number two, Jesus is always worth defending. Girl, listen, I'm an atheist and I know this more than anything on the planet. Jesus did not like overtly religious people. He implicitly spoke out about grandiose religiosity. And that's what MAGA does. And it is this puffed up performative religion where you say, oh, I'm going to bat for JC and I'm going to fight so hard. Her papers, she uses her faith and her gender to weaponize her religion against a trans professor. This gal's mom is full-blown occultist. She was a January 6th attorney. She has brainwashed and religiously abused her child. And yes, I believe, and the evidence shows that people who raise their kids in an evangelical home and tell them you're going to burn in hell forever, you're not worthy, you're not good, you have to seek forgiveness. This is religious abuse. These white evangelical Christians are emotionally stunted because they have been religiously abused. And sadly, the dipshits like this girl that just got an F, nobody is fighting for her. The university thinks they're fighting for her by caving and suspending the trans professor, which the fact that she's trans should have nothing to do with it. She more than did her job. She wrote her a 4-page explanation as to why she received an F instead of just, you didn't follow the assignment, you get an F, boom. And the way that these Christians demand that they be coddled while at the same time claim to be victims is absolutely abhorrent. Her essay was not only stupid, poorly written, imbecilic, but this mindset that she's going to go be a full-time student. I've read somewhere that she's pre-med, but also just write Iron Age bullshit that God created women to be the helper of man. There's nothing helpful about this. This is regressive. It is moronic. And of course, Fox News and all of the other performative, religiously abused Christians that defend the most un-Christ-like administration I've ever seen since Adolf Hitler, quite frankly. And they all defend the diabolical, maniacal cruelty that these people do recreationally. You are a walking, talking, breathing advertisement against Christianity. And you show that you are in a cult because cults get their feathers rustled if you criticize it. That's how you know you're dealing with a cult.
Here's the thing, too. It just reminds me again of the huge fail on the University of Oklahoma. This paper was in a science class. It was not about religion. This girl did not cite the Bible. She gave her opinion of the Bible. All they had to say was, you did not cite any empirical evidence in your paper. But they allowed Turning Point and this girl and the mother of this girl, who is transphobic. If you review her previous posts on social media, they have allowed to turn this into a circus, and every student at the University of Oklahoma is a victim. This professor, I agree with you, we should have never known whether she was trans or not. That is not an issue. But it surprises me 0 she's on Fox News. It's the Riley Gaines effect. It's gross.
All right. And then I want you to realize that all of these Christians that are claiming the moral high ground and so sanctimonious, from Joe Rogan, who's talking about the return of Jesus as an AI bot, who endorsed Donald Trump. And now it's like, whoa, I didn't know he was going to deport like everybody to this brainwashed student and her cultist mother who's religiously abused her daughter her entire life with a layup now, an assist by the University of Oklahoma, who is enabling said religious abuse. They all die on this hill. They all die on the hill for this guy. And this is the most Christ-like shit. And why I, an atheist, have more moral clarity about the radical agenda of Jesus being a radical empath, being radically compassionate, always standing with the downtrodden, and him being, surprise, surprise, brown. He was a brown-skinned man. So here is who all of these Christians will die on the hill for this insane leader. One Kankles McTaco Tits, Donald J. Trump. Play the clip.
All she does is complain about this country. Without this country, she would not be in very good shape. She probably wouldn't be alive right now. So Somalia is considered by many to be the worst country on earth. I don't know. I haven't been there. I won't be there anytime soon, I hope. But what Somalia, what the Somalian people have done to Minnesota is not even believable. It's not even believable. And a lot of it starts with the governor. A lot of it starts with Barack Hussein Obama, because that's when people started coming in. And you have to have people come in that are going to love our country, cherish our country.
Okay, stop. Number one, this is full-blown racism. They are having a problem, the MAGA regime. They started deporting Latinos, and that has really swung to where now this administration is underwater on immigration, because Latino culture has been very assimilated into American culture. It's a part of American culture. And I would say the second language of the country by far is Spanish. And if you're not in MAGA, you think it's cool that people speak two languages or might, have parents from a different country. So considering they're so underwater with Latinos, they've decided they have to go darker. Mm-hmm. And their one full, always clutch is to beat up on Black people. We have a 400-year history of doing such a thing. He started his entire political career before he ever descended on that escalator with racist dog whistles about Barack Hussein Obama. He intentionally uses the middle name to spread Islamophobia. And so he has returned to his original form of racism, which is classic American racism against Black people. And he has a decades-long history back from the Central Park Five to his real estate properties and not leasing to Black people. And you can go decade after decade after decade. And so this is what they're trying to do. And my argument with this in this episode that's kind of centered around Jesus Christ is the teachings of Jesus, my understanding, and I'm not a Christian, but my understanding of it is that if somebody is from Somalia and they are in more need and they are more of a refugee, the more qualified they are to receive grace and assistance from the central character of the Bible and its followers. So as an atheist, as I see this evangelical regime, which I've lived around forever, in Oklahoma, but now they are in power. And I see it on full display on the national scale, how full of shit these people are, how little they care about their alleged Lord and personal Savior, that they are willing to go triple Trump for a man who will sit there and quantify the levels of immigrants based on the home country's output, productivity, whatever. In the most un-Christ-like way. Is just really, really fascinating to me that this type of Iron Age thinking has made it all the way up to the federal government.
Well, and it's so disturbing because you have the press secretary getting on at the podium and saying, we are not taking any refugees, no immigrants, except white Afrikaners. So it's white people. Mm-hmm. You overwhelmingly, this administration has made laws and created policy to go against poor people that are Black and brown. And they do it over. I mean, they started with DEI, which means we don't want women, we don't want brown people, we don't want Black people. It is disgusting. The white supremacy is so loud and proud, they don't even try to hide it. They do not try to hide, we are the supreme race, everybody else is beneath us. It's disgusting.
And these modern day white Christian evangelicals, the white evangelicals, you guys, these are the descendants of the KKK evangelicals. And the racism in states like Oklahoma, the amount of people that use the N-word just casually and don't think that much of it. It's always been there, but Trump has emboldened it even more. So now is a time more than ever when you see racism to stand up, especially if you're a white person of privilege like Pumps and me, to let the people in your life know, I will not have any part of the silent bigotry of enabling your racism. It will be called out because I believe in human rights and I think you're a religious fucking hypocrite. And I say that to a lot of people in Oklahoma that Bible thump, that have lectured me about my soul, and then they run around and casually use the N-word. I have to say to you, fuck you. I'm 10 times more of a Christian than you will ever be. And I've never believed one fucking word in the Bible, but I do believe the central character, Jesus Christ, is the exact opposite of everything to do with the MAGA movement. And here's how I'm going to illustrate this to you guys. Pete Hegseth has 1 million kids, 1 million different baby mamas, kills brown people, thinks it's cool to play military, but he always has to Christian signal. These white evangelicals and their sanctimony and their moral high ground, they always have to Christian signal to people so that they can do evil, unchrist-like shit, but then remind you, oh, we like God too. So here's a prime example. Here he is on white nationalist, Nazi-esque podcast, Katie Miller's.
Write one Hegseth family rule on that whiteboard. What is that?
Oh, it's just obey God.
Yeah, I was going to say honor God. Try to honor God with your conduct each day. And if you're trying to honor God, you're shooting at the ideal, and which means your treatment of other people.
So do you think that's a Freudian slip? If you honor God, you're shooting at the idea that's coming from the guy that ordered the shot that killed survivors of an illegal strike in the Caribbean because they were brown-skinned fishermen, and now they're trying to cover it up and throw an admiral. So he has the audacity to sit on this podcast with the wife of Goebbels Jr., who appears like Stephen Miller's entire ethos has come from the study of Nazi Germany. And they have the audacity to sit there and talk about God being the driving force in their life. This is the biggest lie, MAGA. They've lied to you. They've weaponized your faith. They've lied to you that wealth will trickle down. They've lied to you, and they have falsely empowered you to think that your religion and your whiteness is above criticism. And that is one of the worst lies on the planet, because when they lie and tell you that, you think, well, I'm white and I'm a Christian, so nobody can criticize me. And they lie to you in that because then they can justify treating you like shit financially and transferring your hard-earned money to wealthy AI tech guys who want to dismantle democracy and have you pay for it.
I listened to 99% of this podcast. I was enraged. This is the most arrogant, incompetent. This man is beyond a hypocrite. He takes hypocrisy to another level. Are you honoring God, Pete Hegseth, when you shoot people, when you demean women and say, well, if my military seniors cut out women, so be it. Are you honoring God when you knock somebody up?
Old Testament God is.
Somebody? I mean, he's both. He's a hypocrite of both old and new. Like, thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not covet someone else's wife. This man is so beyond evil and cruel. It is stunning. And he homeschools his kids, and his wife makes his lunch, and he sits there after he has, like you said, a track record of behavior that would turn anyone's stomach, with the wives and the strip bars and the sexual harassment. And he sits there and lectures people. It is disgusting. Every Christian should compare this man to behavior and words, and they should be sick to their stomachs. But you know what? They like it, because he is just as entitled and judgmental and cruel as they are. That's exactly why he's still in power. It is disgusting.
And this is why when you look at the numbers, nobody wants to be a Christian, because the MAGA movement has hijacked the radical empathy of Jesus, and they have all of these mega churches everywhere. One in particular that I think I like to draw attention to is called Life Church. It is a church based in Oklahoma City. They now have over 20 locations. Their number one goal is to grow and grow and grow. This is a brainwashing academy, and anybody that goes to Life Church, if you criticize it, they are, oh my God, I can't believe that we're getting criticized. And instances like that, where people are lying to mass numbers of people to grift and to promote the wife submitting to the husband, and to promote this white nationalist agenda, and to passively endorse all of the policies of MAGA. It's so insidious, and it needs to be called out. And if you're a member of a church where somebody criticizes the faith or critically thinks about it, and you're offended and you think you're above that, you're in a cult. This is a cult, and this cult has reached the heights of the federal government, and it is wildly, wildly dangerous. All right, that's all we have. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment to feed the algorithm, and we'll be back later with more news.